We're also going to be talking about Rachel Reeves' bid to head off that Labour rebellion later this afternoon over the winter fuel payment cuts, claiming that pensioners are going to get a £1,700 boost to their incomes under Labour. So that's all right then. Yeah, well, that's not happening until after this winter. And I hate to tell you, the heating's going to probably need to go on by the end of this week, let alone this winter. Keir Starmer right now is speaking to the Trades Union Congress conference, TUC conference, where, of course, they're going to have a vote later today as well, likely to criticise the government over the winter fuel payment axing as a universal benefit to 10 million pensioners. We'll see what he makes of that. And we're also, later in the show, going to talk about Germany. They've notified the EU they're going to bring in controls on all land borders of Germany amid rising anger among Germans about illegal migration, rising crime and Islamist terrorism. It's almost like we should try and do the same thing, isn't it? We'll talk about all of that. Welcome to the Home of Common Sense. Welcome also to Claire Pearsall, former Conservative Government Advisor, joining us for the show. Good morning once again to you.
Morning.
So much to talk about, so much going on. Right now, we've got Keir Starmer addressing the TUC Annual Congress. This should be like a victory lap, you know. But as it is, I mean, this is a man who's pushing through a winter fuel payment axing to millions of pensioners, some of whom are very well off and don't need it, but an awful lot still need it at a time when heating bills are still very, very expensive historically. They may have gone down from the peak, but they're still, as Richard Tice pointed out earlier, still 60% higher than they were a few years ago. And that's not money that most people simply have going spare. But also this prisoner early release scheme, a massive concern for many people. And many people are just saying, again, as actually as Ellen, our caller, just pointed out, just really surprised that this is the stuff that Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer have decided to do, saying that these are the tough choices they're having to make, at the same time as, what, £11 billion on overseas climate aid, whatever the hell that's going to be spent on, and giving massive bumper pay rises to train drivers on 65k.
You remember when political parties used to have a honeymoon period when they came into government? Yeah, that's not happening. And the choices they're making at the moment are very bizarre. It's putting them against the country. Everybody pretty much in the country is turning around saying, this is a bonkers idea to freeze Granny at Christmas. Yeah. And then you've got the unions who are also looking at them saying, hold on a minute, you're not doing that, you shouldn't do this, you haven't looked at all of the repercussions of it, and you haven't discussed it with us. Now, bear in mind that the unions are the biggest backers of the Labour Party. You don't want to upset those people. So they have managed to be
popular with everybody.
With everyone.
Again, I would have expected a longer honeymoon. I really would have. Perhaps the first rebellion today may be very, very small, but even so, any MP rebelling against a brand new government and it is supposedly a huge mandate. Of course, it's a huge mandate number of MPs, a massive majority, but it is not a huge mandate from the country, simply because only 34% of the vote. Anyway, well, I mean, it's fascinating. We'll talk more about all of that, but let's focus right now on the release scheme today. 1,700 prisoners coming out today. We've had warnings not just from the Victims Commissioner. This is Baroness Newlove. She said that the scheme would be distressing for many victims who rightfully expect offenders will serve the sentence handed down by the court. I mean, not that anyone does that. They all get released early, but particular concern about women who've been victims of domestic abuse and their children actually having their offenders, the perpetrators, let out but not even being informed. Not everybody's been informed. And also Charlie Taylor, he's the Chief Inspector of Prisons. He probably knows what he's talking about too. He said it was certainly going to be a risky time to let these people out. He said because there's such pressure on probation services already.